friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. You've been asking for it and I am finally doing it. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to book talk. If you've been interested in starting a bookish TikTok account, but you feel intimidated by it, you're not quite sure how it works, you don't know how to do it, this video is for you. The video is going to be divided up into sections. I'm going to start by giving you an overview of what BookTok is, give you some tips and tricks, and then I'm actually going to walk you through making some TikTok videos. I need to make some new TikTok content today anyway, and so you guys are going to get a behind the scenes look step by step at how I make those videos. And I'm going to make a couple of pretty typical BookTok content types, so you'll get an idea of how one would go about making those. So to set the groundwork for this, I've been doing YouTube for several years, but I am very new to TikTok as a platform. I started pretty recently. I don't have a huge following. As I'm filming this video, I have around 500, but it is pretty consistently growing. I don't have any videos that have blown up huge. A couple have done significantly better than others, but I'm not trying to say that I am like the expert on how to become a big TikTok or BookTok star. That's not what this video is. But hopefully it will give you a little bit of an introduction to the community, where to start, and some best practices or guidelines to get you going. So the first big thing you need to know is on TikTok, people have very short attention spans, which means that you're gonna have something like 2 or 3 seconds to grab somebody's attention and keep them from scrolling on. Don't do long intros. On my YouTube videos, I'll do an intro and say, hi, welcome, blah, 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 blah. On TikTok, that's not what you wanna do. You wanna dive right into the content that they are looking for, which means if you're reviewing a book, you're not going to say, hey, BookTokers, today I want to talk to you about this book. No, you want to get them right in. You need to hear about this book because it is an incredible feminist retelling of Greek mythology. This is Ariadne. You want to dive in, you want to grab attention right away, and you don't want to meander. You need to get to the point. Think of this as your bullet point version of a video. In a YouTube video, you can flesh it out more, you can talk for longer, and you know, there are exceptions. There are people who are able to suck you in with their topic pretty quickly. But in general, if you're starting out, you kind of want to get straight to the point for people. If it's noisy in the background, apologies. I had to turn the air conditioner on. It's like 90 degrees outside today and it was getting really hot. So sorry if it's a little bit noisy. I want to talk about a couple of other things before we dive into actually making the BookTok content. You're starting your BookTok and you're wondering, what do I post? Like, what kind of content do I post? Really, there are tons of options, but there are a few common video types that I tend to see on BookTok. One thing I see a lot of is skits. These can be amazing and hilarious if done well. There are some BookTokers who nail it. They script these skits. They're very funny, and I really enjoy them. Making skits is not my strength, so this is not something that I do all the time, but if it's yours, highly recommend. I think they tend to do pretty well. Do keep in mind that we're talking very short form video. So these are going to be anywhere from like 15 seconds to a minute in length for the most part. There are creators who now have access to making 3-minute videos, but usually they're more established creators. And in general, you do want to keep your content to the shorter side, so keep it under a minute long, which is part of why I was saying earlier, keep it to the bullet points and get right to the point. Other popular things are shorter versions of content that you see on BookTube. People do TBRs, they do wrap-ups, they do book hauls. All of those do pretty well. And in fact, we're going to do a mini book haul later. I'm going to show you how to do it. One thing that's kind of fun with TikTok in particular is there's a lot of focus on transitions. This is kind of like a very low-tech version of special effects, I guess you could say. I'm going to show you later how to actually do this, but case in point, with video editing, I might do this. Okay, so I'll show you how to do some fun transitions. Similarly, you'll see people using these transitions for recommendation videos where it's like a list of books on a theme. People also do book reviews. Again, you want to dive right into it. Depending on your reviewing style, you can be more analytical, especially if you're being controversial. Mari from My Name is Marinez recently started TikTok, and this is kind of the direction she's taken with a lot of her videos. She'll do book reviews and discussion videos that, you know, are a little bit more salty and controversial, and so she she's able to do more longer form content and more like in-depth analysis in her videos, which I think is cool. A lot of the videos that do incredibly well on TikTok are very hyperbolic and very high emotion. So people like literally showing themselves crying on camera, reading a book, or like throwing a book across the room are some of the videos that have done well early on in TikTok BookTok. But you can do other things as well. One kind of fun review style that I've seen as a trend on BookTok that I want to try out, and I'm going to show you how I do it later, is getting people interested in a book by making it sound like you're telling a story about your own life, and then it slowly becomes clear, oh wait, this is the plot of a book, and then at the end you reveal what the book is. It's kind of fun and cool. I've seen some people do it, and I'm going to be trying it out today for a book I read recently. I think this works particularly well with dramatic plot lines. The last big type of BookTok content that I'm going to mention, there may be others, but I'm trying to kind of give you some of the big ones that you'll see pretty frequently. Take a type of video that is trending on TikTok more broadly and do a bookish version of it. I'll give you an example of one that I did. For copyright reasons, I can't play the music that goes along with it. There was a trend going around where people would play this song wearing kind of like casual clothes, and then on transitions do different dramatic looks. And so I did a bookish outfit version of it. Here it is with different music. It is not copyrighted. So that was really fun. You can take more general ideas and get creative with ways to make them bookish. I think that's a lot of fun to do. But really the sky is the limit. Anything that you think would be fun or interesting that you can catch people's attention with quickly and do as short form content, give it a try. And that's the great thing, is I think TikTok allows you to be pretty experimental in the type of content that you're making, and a lot of things can do well. There are people who do controversial discussions or who answer questions from their followers, and that's a lot of their content. There are so many different options, but hopefully this will get you started. Okay, with that said, we're going to make a couple of TikTok videos and I'm gonna walk you through it step by step. First is going to be a mini book haul. Okay, so this is the stack of books for my little mini book haul video. They're things that have come in the mail in the last few days, and this is like a reasonable number to do probably for the video. I can probably fit most of them in. This is my setup. So I have my ring light, I've got my phone right here, and I will sit here and do my transitions. Set you here so you can see what I'm doing. We're gonna go into start a new video. Here we go. So first up, what I need to do is go 60 seconds, because it's going to be longer, into effects. One thing to note is there's a lot of really cool effects. There's a green screen one, so if you want to use green screen, you can. But for this video, the one that I want to use, if I can find it, I need to just like bookmark the ones that I actually, oh, here we go, okay. The one that I want to use is invert. And why? The reason this is really important is if you film it like this, nobody will be able to read the title of the book that you're talking about. But if you use invert and tap the screen, ta-da, now everybody can read it. It's a little awkward because it's like mirroring you, but took me a while to figure out that you can use invert as an effect, and this is what it looks like. So this is what we're doing. Okay, so now we're going to film the TikTok, which means I need to do a very brief introduction, and then we're going to do some fun transitions. So here we go. Don't forget, you can always edit the clips later so they don't have to be perfect, but it all has to fit in 60 seconds. I had a bunch of books. It's okay. Hit the X, start over. You can make mistakes, it's all fine. I had a bunch of exciting new books come in the mail this week, so here they are. Do I love that? No. Let's try it again. Sometimes this is going to take a bunch of takes, and that's totally fine. I had some exciting new books come in the mail this week, and I wanted to share. Okay. Notice, I put my hand up, I paused the video, and then we're going to do our next clip. So I need to make decisions about the order that I'm going to do these in, and part of it depends on the transitions. The first transition that I want to use is the floppy pages transition. This only works with floppy paperbacks. You can't do this with hardcovers. So these are both floppy paperbacks, which will work great for this transition. let's do it. The next clip will get edited to start with my hand there, okay? We're gonna start it. Okay, so started it, hand, you see the book, and then we do floppy, pause. So now we're gonna transition to this book. You'll see in the editing. There we go. Okay, so the next transition is I'm gonna push the book forward and we're gonna switch to this one. So I stopped the video. Next transition was do this, stop the video, and we're gonna get the next book ready to go. Okay, this is another transition. Stop it on the spine like this, and then we're going to change it to something else. Try to keep it in the same spot on your face. Oh, shoot. Okay, this is like a throwing one I've seen people do, where they kind of throw it at the camera, and then we're gonna throw it back. This time we're transitioning to Jasmine Throne. Here we go. And final transition is going to be back to the whole stack of books. Ugh. Jeez. There we go, and play. Okay, that is the filming part. Now we're going to edit. Okay, so here we go. We're going to edit the clips. This is gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna go to my first clip. I'm gonna slide the bar to where I wanted to start. I had some exciting new books come in the mail this week. And then I'm gonna go to where I want it to end. So right there, check mark. Now we're gonna go to the next one. I'm gonna go to here. And I wanna find a spot where it's in the white when I edit for this. So we're gonna start there, and then we're going to go to the next clip, and for this transition, I wanna find the last spot where you can't see the color of the book. So right here, and there it is. And we're gonna go to there. Okay. Next clip. We go here. And right there. Edit. And then we go here. And I know I messed this one up, so I've got to go to there. I want to go. We're throwing it at the thing, so this is a new transition for me. I'm hoping this turns out okay. Okay, cool. So, exciting new books coming see how it looks. Week, and I wanted to share. Looks good so far. Okay, looks good. So I'm gonna click save. And then the next step is we want to pick some music. For copyright reasons, you're not going to hear the actual music I pick on here, but typically what you want to do is go into sounds and go to TikTok viral, and this is going to show you all of the things that are currently trending on TikTok. If you like one of these songs and it's going to work for you, it's not a terrible idea to pick this as what you use because TikTok will tend to prioritize it. One thing to keep in mind is for a video like this where it's mostly just visual and not a lot of talking, you can use a song with lyrics. But for something like a book review where it's a lot of talking, you're just going to want to use some background music that is not too loud and doesn't have lyrics. So I think for today, I'm going to go with a song that I like, which is Astronaut in the Ocean. You are going to hear it with some different music, but we're going to add this. What you know about rolling? Here we can add captions. I had some exciting new books. And you can edit them if you want to change anything. Click save. All right, next step is we're gonna get ready to post it. And you wanna do a few things here. First up, you're gonna select your cover. You wanna figure out what you want to be your cover. You can do this, but this is what's gonna show up on your main feed. That's kind of fun. And then if you want, you can add a title. So I'm gonna put new books. Okay, and save. So then you're gonna type in whatever you want it to say in your post. I'm probably just gonna do hashtags for this, and you can also tag people if you like. So we're gonna do hashtag BookTok, hashtag maybe book mail, and then sometimes it'll suggest things that are like trending, and I might do that. Like, next, what you have to decide is who can watch this video. Do you want to limit who can watch it? You can go in here and you can change that if you only want your friends or yourself to be able to see it. You can decide if you want to allow comments, if you want to allow people to duet you or stitch you. You can decide whatever you want to do, and you can decide if you want to save it to your device and then repost it. Keep in mind, you can always re-download it later, so you don't have to do it right away. It'll still be available. If you want to tag people, like say, I want to see if the author of one of the books is on here, I can search for her. It doesn't look like she's on here, but if you want to tag a publisher, you can. Really, that part is up to you. Okay, so for our second TikTok video, I'm going to be filming a sort of mini review of the kind that I mentioned earlier. I'm going to be talking about One Week to Claim It All by Adriana Herrera, which is a romance I read recently and really enjoyed, and I think it's going to work well for this. So let's see how this goes. So my dad has never really been a part of my life. He paid for all my education, but just really wasn't involved at all. He runs this big he actually owns a television network, and I just can't help myself. I have always wanted his approval, so I went to school to study television and try to make my way in this industry and prove that I can do it without him. But he recently passed away and left me the position as CEO of the company he owned. I'm not sure if I want it, but I'm competing against my ex-boyfriend, who is such a jerk. I'm definitely competing. Who is such a jerk, and I kind of want revenge, so I think I'm gonna go for it. This is One Week to Claim It All by Adriana Herrera, coming out later this month. Let's edit. So my dad has never really been a part. Again, we want to adjust the clips so I start talking right away. So my dad has never really been a part of my life. He paid for all my education, but just really wasn't involved at all. So my dad has never really been a part of my life. He runs this big, okay, so we want to delete that one because I kind of messed it up. So my dad has never really been a part of my life. He actually owns a television network, and I just can't help myself. I have always wanted his approval, so I went to school to study television and try to make my way in this industry and prove that I could do it without him. But he recently passed away and left me the position as CEO of the company he owned. I'm not sure if I want it.
Okay.
He actually
Oh shoot, okay.
Such a jerk, and
alright, so let's go back here and fix this. And
he actually owns a television
okay, let's see if that's it.
And I just can't help myself. I have always wanted his approval, so I went to school to study television. I'm competing against my ex-boyfriend, who is such a jerk, and I kind of want revenge, so I think I'm gonna go for it. This is 1 Week to Claim It All by Adriana Herrera, coming out later this month. So my dad has never really
okay.
Paid for all my education.
So for this one, I want to do captions. And for this, I'm probably also, I don't know if I'm going to do audio.
Part of my life, he paid for all my education.
Okay, so I can scroll through.
Who is...
Okay, so I'm going to fix... Okay.
This is 1 Week to Claim It All.
I'm going to save that. And then for this, I also
so my dad has never really been a part of my life.
Want to add text.
But just really
and we're going to do...
I have always wanted his approval, so I went to school to study television and try to make my way in this industry and prove that I could do it without him. But he recently passed away.
Okay, so I want to put this with the book. But I don't want it for the whole thing, so I'm going to click here, set duration, and I'm going to slide this over so that it doesn't show up until I show them the book at the end. Okay, so here's the book, and then I can move it. I gotta wait till we get to the end, and then I'll move it around. But just really wasn't involved at all. He actually owns a television network, and I just can't help myself. I have always wanted his approval, so I went to school to study television and try to make my way in this industry and prove that I can do it without him. But he recently passed away and left me the position as CEO of the company he owned. I'm not sure if I want it, but I'm competing against my ex-boyfriend, who is such a jerk, and I kind of want revenge, so I think I'm gonna go for it. This is 1 Week to Claim It All by Adriana Herrera, coming out later this month. So my dad has never really been a part. So I'm going to, again, select a cover. For this, I'm not gonna add any text. And then we're gonna put in 1 week to claim it all. Romance. We're gonna go romance, BookTok. And I'm gonna see if Harlequin is on the platform. They are. So I'm gonna tag Harlequin. That's good. So this one I'm gonna save with captions because it's short enough that I can also post it as a reel on Instagram. And I'm gonna save it in my drafts folder so I can post it later. Hopefully that gives you kind of an idea of what goes into creating a BookTok video. It is more work than I think it looks like sometimes, but it's a lot of fun and you can be super creative with it. One other thing I wanted to mention is I did put up a TikTok this morning saying that I was making a how-to TikTok video and asking if anybody had questions or things that they wish they knew before they started. I did do this pretty last minute, and so far I've only gotten one response, but if I get more later, I will add them in. But this
This person said that they wish that they knew that it's a good idea to film ahead of time, so in a pinch you have something to post. I showed you earlier that I saved some things to my drafts folder, and in general, I do think this is probably pretty good advice. I didn't actually know when I first got on the app that you can save drafts of multiple videos in that drafts folder and then post them whenever you want to. Again, this has been mostly about BookTok specific things. You can definitely look up other videos about how to do more general TikTok type content, or like how to use different features, when to post, etc. But hopefully this gives you a good jumping off point if you've been wanting to try out TikTok and start a BookTok account. Talk to me in the comments down below and let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I covered in this video. And if you have any additional questions or things that you're wondering about, or comments that you think would be helpful for people, leave them in the comments down below. For your question of the day, let me know, are you on TikTok? Have you used it? How do you feel about it? I feel like I see a lot of authors say they feel like TikTok is really intimidating, and I'll just say I don't think it has to be. I think it can be really fun if you just like try it out and play around with it and see what works, and don't worry too much about it. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more, and if you want to support the work of the channel, check out the Patreon link down below or check out channel memberships. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.